If I were in charge of the game of wool, here's how I would have done it. These are my ideas for challenges by knitters, for knitters, something that would make this show representative of what we truly love. Game of Wool, if you're wanting to steal my ideas, go ahead, steal them. I would be happy to see any of this on your next season. So, first off, I would have 2 challenges per show, but they would be one technical challenge and one creativity challenge. So the first one, the technical challenge, the goal would not be to make an entire thing. Knitting is a slow hobby. It takes time. If you ask the contestants to make full items, it will always take a long time. So how about we do technical challenges that are not about having a finished item by the end of the time. So something fun like name the stitch, name the cast on, name the bind off, name stuff to see what kind of knowledge these people have. You show them pictures, they have to name it, or match the cast on to the bind off, or things that could be done with snappy, fun challenges. Then they can be put in teams. Whichever team wins name the most amount of things, get an advantage in the next challenge. Something like that. Something like guess the composition of the yarn just by touching it. Put a blindfold on, give them some yarn, have them try to guess the composition or the size of the yarn, the needles. It does not have to be too serious. It's fun. And I would love to see how many people can, differentiate by touch only acrylic, a really good acrylic, to a merino wool. I don't know. Have I ever done that with my eyes closed? No. It could also just be with the eyes open even. You take off the ball band, you have people analyze a skein and tell me as many things that you can from a skein without the tag. So if I were to give you this yarn but not the band, could you tell me what size yarn it is, which needle or hook it recommends, what the gauge would be with those needles, and maybe the weight and the length and the content? That'd be super fun to me. I don't know about normal people, but if you're making a show about knitting, some of those things knitters would absolutely love. Then in something more like make a project, I would say go find a sweater at a thrift store and harvest the yarn of it and make something else. But like show us them going to a thrift store and looking through sweaters and finding the one they want to take and reuse instead of giving them only the options in the yarn barn that you have chosen for them. I would have also the contestants match the right yarn to the right texture, because yes, there are some yarn that create a better cable or that create a better lace or that works better for color work. Match the yarn to the texture that you want to create. Love it. I would have them knit something out of only 5-gram scraps, bunch of scraps all balled up everywhere. Give them a shit ton and let them go wild with 5-gram scraps as much as they want. Have them finish a project that someone couldn't finish, whether it's someone who unfortunately passed and did not have time to finish. There are so many of those that exist, or whether it's one that a friend of someone tried to start and then they couldn't finish because of whatever reason. Have them finish projects that are already started, and maybe you don't even give them a pattern. You let them figure it out from what that is, which is sometimes not a lot of information, but it's super interesting to see. Knit a pattern. That one's fun to me. Find a vintage pattern and have them knit that vintage pattern without any kind of pictures. That would be really hard because sometimes it's so cryptic. I would be super interested to know what it turns out to be and if it actually looks like the original. It doesn't even have to be vintage. Sometimes it's like any pattern. You don't give them any hints as to if it's a hat, if it's a scarf, if it's mittens. You just let them do the pattern as is and see how well they can handle that. You can, in the technical challenge, I would love to see them fixing mistakes in different types of knits. start easy. You know, you give someone a swatch in stockinette stitch and stockinette stitch with mistakes in it. It's still on the needles. You say fix it. You have that much. You have. I love challenges where you would get like, I don't know. You have 2 hours to fix as many of those swatches as you can, and then see how many they got done. Not like take 12 hours to knit something. Come on. Like, so you would have, yeah, a stockinette stitch, and then you have one that is a cable, that is a linen stitch, brioche, color work, and let them show you their ability to fix mistakes, because that's where you see true mastery, in my opinion. I would absolutely love to see a challenge that is knit a Kate Facet or Alice Starmore inspired item. Something that has a very clear signature, and ask them to create something in the style of. Would love that. And also, it would be a great moment to talk about people that have marked the history of knitting, modern knitting. You could also talk about techniques, you know, make something inspired by the techniques that Barbara Walker popularized, or knit something that Elizabeth Zimmerman would have knitted. I love these things. I would ask them to create a new and interesting shawl shape. There is a million shawls. There's a lot of different constructions. Find some, try to figure out a different shawl construction. Fun. Utilize self-striping yarn in an interesting way. Self-striping yarn is very much used in socks. It has been used in a, you know, basic top-down sweater, but how could we make the beauty of a self-striping yarn sing in a different way? And one thing that I would also really love to say, give all the contestants the same yarn and the same colors, and even a number of maybe stitches that they have to use, and tell them to knit whatever they would like with it, and see how it comes out different from everyone. So if you give everyone the same yarn and the same colors, then their brain has to work in their own way to create something that is their own. And it means that one person might do color work, one person might do brioche, one person might do mosaic, one person might do stripes. And I think that that's the beauty of our craft, and not just giving them very... I feel like the challenges last season were very restrictive in the way they were done, and didn't let people use their creativity as much as they could have, and also didn't let the contestants show their knowledge as much as they could have. I feel like there was a lot of designer challenges and not a lot of like skill and knowledge challenges. So this is how I personally would love to see the Game of Wool go. I would also love to see them pass around a project, and each of them working on the same project in alternance, like knit on one and then on the other, and they pass it around and see what it creates in the end. Things that are fun like that and less stressful, in my opinion. So that's it. That's how I would go about it. Tell me what you think about that, and tell me if you have some ideas. I want to hear them. See you next time.